yeah, networking. As Ron Burgundy says, it is a big deal. So networking and relationships. This is an interesting one. I want, again, to get your pens and paper out. So you can write down, where do you see yourself kind of in the industry? If you had to kind of write down where you think you're based. So I've written a few ideas. That's obviously club, corporate, weddings, communities. But have a little think about if you kind of had to pitch yourself into an area, whereabouts you kind of see yourself. So yeah, wherever you are, all of them kind of acquire like different approaches to kind of finding your in and how you deal with them. So if you kind of see yourself mainly as a club performer, how do you guys reckon you would go about kind of getting your work and getting your kind of in with those events? Specifically go to the clubs, it's a good idea, yeah. Social media and online stuff is a really, really big platform for kind of club work. So if you do a lot of that kind of stuff, there are so many like job posting things, so they're quite quick. It is quite not a saturated bit of the industry, but there are a lot of club performers. So if you kind of do a lot of that kind of work, kind of being online, and it's a bit more last minute, but you'll have a lot of stuff with kind of like social media with that one, with Facebook groups and everything. Good thing about club work often is that you will get lots of photos from it, which is quite an important thing, and sometimes you'll get really good ones from it. So they might not be the best paying sometimes, but they can sometimes be like a good in or a kind of good way to start things off, because you will get lots of media from it. What else? So corporate, how do you kind of think you go about kind of networking and getting in with corporate gigs?
Through agents.
Agents. It's pretty much only through agents. Any of the really big ones, there'll normally be a huge chain of people involved, and we are the ones right at the very bottom of that chain, holding it all together. So if you've got a big event, there'll normally be an events organising agent who'll then go to an entertainment agent, who'll then go to a circus agent, who will then come to you. So it's a big chain of things. You're never going to get that job at the top from being a solo performer. You're basically going to go through agents. So I'll be talking about kind of getting in with them in a little bit more detail later. So weddings, again, that's one of the... Weddings is an odd one to think about as events go and getting in with those. They are the most stressful of kind of events to run. They're really involved, and they are not for the light-hearted. So if you kind of see yourself as wanting to be like a wedding-based performer, be prepared for stress. And not just because it's Bridezilla's, it's a stressful thing to be a part of. So if you've got a corporate, they normally have, 4 or 5 parties a year. It's not a big deal for them. Weddings is like someone's big day for their life. So yeah, if you kind of feel like you would like to pitch yourself at weddings, like kind of area stuff, they are very rewarding, and I love doing wedding entertainment, but mainly if I'm only the person talking directly to them. When it goes to like chains of people, it can get a bit lost and a bit skewed, but they are really rewarding to work at. Mostly. Most of my nightmare stories, of which Kat knows loads, are from weddings, and there are many. You can ask me about them if you so wish. Hopefully won't dissuade you from them. And then community stuff. So this is actually where my company, Helter, started off, was going through community stuff, because I grew up doing all of that, and I really enjoy those events. And as a performer, I really like working with kind of family stuff. I love the interactive side of things. So I always wanted to do kind of community-based work. So that one is mainly through kind of councils, and again, they can be very difficult to get ins with. A lot of the time it is just kind of emailing. I think I did go to a council building at one point, but often you get in with one council and then other people will get in touch with you, but councils are difficult. But yeah, they're quite fun ones. So networking relationships. As mentioned earlier, all relationships require work. You can't just let things slide. So for that one, what would I say for that one? Let me go back. Yeah, stay in touch. I mean, if you think about relationships you have in other kind of parts of your life, how do you go about maintaining those? So not in a business side, just general relationships. What do you do to maintain them?
Keep dinner parties.
Dinner parties is nice, yeah. So stay in touch, yeah. So kind of business relationships are pretty much the same. Like if you want to be with agents or just with kind of people, you have to remind them that you exist. So I would say, yeah, don't just kind of send emails. If you have a new act, send an email package out that's got the photos in. We love seeing all the new things that you're up to. But yeah, it's all little touches. My favourite thing is, my favourite advice that one of my PR teachers gave me was that if you're talking to someone, note down personal information about them. So if you do speak to them again on the phone, you can be like, how was your holiday? How was your cat? Like anything that makes them feel like you're invested in them and that you know them a bit more is really nice thing. Like I love when people call me up and they're like, oh, how are your snakes? I was going to bring my snakes today as either an incentive or a punishment for people, but I thought that might be a bit weird. So like, if you did good and you like snakes, you may have a play. If you do not, I'll scare you with them.
Do you have hats for your snakes?
I do, yeah.
Oh, yes.
I have knitted ones.
Oh.
They're actually ones that are from like innocent smoothie bottles. Remember there was that? Yeah, the knitted ones. Yeah, so I have a picture of my royal python on her birthday, wearing a little knitted hat. This is a way to my heart also, guys. You want like brownie bonus points from this. Reptiles, gin and shiny things. Just saying, that's the way to me. And then yeah, networking events is another thing. So networking events, they're a bit of an odd one in this industry. You don't get too many, and they're kind of hard if you're like a smaller performer. I mean, like we do a few wedding fairs directly, and we get a lot of work from them. But again, we're very geared towards weddings. That's something you kind of need to work towards. But yeah, networking, you can find like local ones. I think me and Helen, my business partner, we used to go to a few like business networking events around, and they were really helpful to get contacts from. It's a bit difficult for us because obviously the service we're providing is very much like an extra, and it's not like, I need my plumbing doing, or I need to get my hair cut, or I need so-and-so. It's always like, I have extra budget, what can I spend it on a lot of the time? So a lot of the networking events were kind of like builders or photographers or people that can like help each other a bit more. So we were a little bit like, hello, we can't really help you, but they loved us because we're different. So go, have a look, have a play. They're quite interesting things to do. So yeah, damage control, not the nicest thing, but it's a good thing to discuss. So, hopefully something you won't ever have to do, but you do need to have a plan for when things don't go right. So, things like if you're going to be late, what kind of things would you do to try and kind of make up for the fact you're turning up late to an event?
Call ahead.
Call ahead, yeah, definitely keep people in the know. The worst thing you can do is if the client has no idea what's going on, they can't try and problem solve for it. So keep the client in touch. Once you've turned up, what would you kind of recommend doing as a way of kind of making amends?
Let's do extra.
Yeah, stay I was booked well, it's more for teaching, I guess. I was booked for an hour's class, then if the space is still free, I'd still teach the hour.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the best thing you can do is just try and make up for it, basically. I mean, sadly, it's a thing that likely will happen at some point over your performing career, no matter how much you try and avoid it. So I mean, like for us, we have a 2-hour arrival time before our first set is due to start. I have not yet ever been late for a set, despite the fact I've spent like 6 hours getting to a place that should have been a 2-hour journey. But leave safety time, be prepared, that's a good thing. But yeah, if you are turning up late, go straight in with, just apologise, don't try and be like, oh, make excuses for it. Just go straight in with, I'm really sorry, I will do this extra thing. That's what clients like to hear. So like I say, either offer extra sets, offer extra time, just try and make up for it. But let your agent know about it as well. If you are booked through an agent and not a direct thing, do let us know, because we can't try and like protect you or look after you or sort things out if we don't know what's happened. So do keep us in the know. It's shitty and you're going to feel shit about it, but we need to know these things. So yeah, go with that one, and yeah, be transparent about it. Like I was saying, we can't back you up if we don't know, and we'll often get feedback from clients afterwards. We're going to find out. So just let us know. What else? Make up the things. Oh yeah, we're not there yet. I'm going to go back. I'm going to save Ellen. But yeah, so if you are late for stuff, it's that sad thing where you can never really make up for it fully, which is the sad thing about it, because the agent or client's probably always going to be a little bit like, oh yeah, they work on time. But just do your best. That's all we can ever ask, just do your best.